Elon Musk's father owned an emerald mine. Bill Gates attended one of the only high schools in America with a computer in 1968, paid for by his wealthy parents. Jeff Bezos launched Amazon with a $250,000 loan from his parents. So when someone says they built their wealth from nothing, what does nothing actually mean? And more importantly, does the head start explain everything? Or does something else explain the gap between the people who got the head start and actually became billionaires and the far larger number of people who got the same advantages and did nothing remarkable with them? Today, the uncomfortable truth about how billionaires really got rich. Two people, same wealthy family, same private school, same inheritance. Marcus, the older one, took his inheritance, invested conservatively, lived well, and spent 40 years turning $800,000 into approximately $3 million. Respectable, comfortable, unremarkable. His younger brother Daniel took the same starting point and built a logistics company worth $340 million by 45. Same money, same family, same school, same connections. Completely different outcomes. If inherited wealth explained billionaire success, Marcus and Daniel would have ended up in the same place. They did not. And that gap between the person who coasts on advantages and the person who builds something extraordinary with them is where the real story lives. The honest answer first. Head starts are real, significant, and consistently under-acknowledged in the mythology of self-made success. A 2023 study found that over 60% of the Forbes 400 wealthiest Americans came from families with significant wealth or had access to capital unavailable to the average person at the start of their journey. That number needs to be said clearly and honestly. Most billionaires did not start from zero. They started from a position that gave them access to capital, networks, education, and safety nets that most people watching this video will never have. The $250,000 loan from Bezos' parents was not available to most aspiring founders in 1994. Gates' access to computing in 1968 was available to almost nobody. Musk's South African upbringing included advantages most people globally could not access. Acknowledging this is not weakness, it is honesty. And honesty is where useful financial thinking starts. Here's what the same research consistently shows. For every person from a wealthy background who became a billionaire, there are dozens who started from the same position and built ordinary, comfortable lives, and dozens more who squandered the advantages entirely. The inheritance explains the starting line. It does not explain the finish. What separates the billionaires from the merely comfortable wealthy is a specific combination: obsessive focus on one problem, willingness to take concentrated risk with capital most wealthy people would protect conservatively, and an unusual tolerance for failure that most inheritors who have something to lose do not develop. Gates did not just have a computer. He programmed it obsessively for thousands of hours while peers were socializing. Bezos did not just have capital. He left a $300,000 Wall Street salary to drive across the country and start a bookshop in a garage. Musk did not just have money. He put his entire PayPal fortune into SpaceX and Tesla, simultaneously, both of which nearly went bankrupt while sleeping on his own factory floor. The head start lowered the floor of failure. It did not create the ceiling of success. Here's the part most finance videos skip. Understanding how billionaires got rich is useful, not because you need to become one, but because it clarifies what is actually within your control and what is not. What is not in your control: the family you were born into, the network you inherited, the capital available to you at 22. What is in your control? The same behaviors that separated Daniel from Marcus. Focused effort on building something specific. Tolerance for discomfort and risk. Reinvesting returns instead of consuming them. Consistent long-term thinking when short-term comfort is available. The billionaire version of these behaviors produces billion-dollar outcomes because it is applied at an extraordinary scale with extraordinary resources behind it. The ordinary person version of these same behaviors applied consistently over 20 years produces financial independence, a paid-off mortgage, an investment portfolio that generates income, options, not a billion, but not nothing. And without the head start, that outcome is more impressive, not less. The truth about billionaires and daddy's money is not simple. Yes, most of them had advantages, significant ones, and pretending otherwise is financial mythology that does ordinary people active harm by making self-success look more accessible than it statistically is. And the advantages do not explain everything. The obsession, the risk tolerance, the concentrated focus, the willingness to fail publicly and keep going, those are not inherited. They are chosen. The honest takeaway is this: you may not have the head start, but the behaviors that separate Daniel from Marcus, the ones that actually build wealth rather than just maintain it, are available to you regardless of where you started. Start building. Not because you will become a billionaire, because the same mindset applied to your actual circumstances compounds into something real. The head start determines the starting line. Your choices determine the finish. Smash that like button. Subscribe to Learn Finance with Zig. Drop a comment. Do you think billionaires are genuinely self-made? I want to see the debate in the comments. Stay smart. Stay wealthy.